Hello, everybody, and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I hope you're having a very good morning. It's early here, and I was thinking about what I was going to make this morning for breakfast, and I thought of something that I had not made in almost a year or more, and I thought, oh, that sounds so good. Now, as you can see, the bag of maseca, you're saying to yourself, well, what is that? Well, this is what I'm going to use for my breakfast. There are lots of people out there that are saving popping corn because they think they're going to grind it down into some flour. Well, maybe they will, I don't know. But I will say that this here, I've had it for about 2 years in my refrigerator, and it's still perfectly fine. I do store it in my refrigerator, and I'm going to make a wonderful breakfast with this. Now, I believe this stuff could last 5 years in your refrigerator or 4 or 5 years on your shelf. I don't know. I mean, I've had some for, like I said, this is 2 years or more, and it's been that long since I've used it. I've used a little bit of it, but I don't use it a whole lot. But it does come in handy, and the more things you have on hand, the better things are. Now, I'm going to show you, I have a bowl here. And in that bowl, let me see, I'm going to read this because I have the recipe for it. It is 1 3/4 cups of that masa. 1 3/4 cups of the maseca. And a 1/4 cup of flour. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of lard or vegetable shortening. Now, I'm going to add hot water to this, okay? I have a cup of hot water. Let me see if I can put this camera in a position where you can see it when I stir in the hot water without the camera falling over. Let me see. Nope. I really want to position it where you can see it when I throw the hot water in there. Now, I'm not going to throw it all in at once. I'm going to leave a little at the bottom because sometimes moisture is different. And so you don't want this to be too wet. You don't want it to be too dry either, okay? But you don't want it to be too wet. Now you see I'm going to have to use a little more. Let me get my hand in here and turn this bowl upwards. Yeah, I'm going to need more of this water. And if you have to add more water, feel free to do so. You may have to. The 1 cup may not be enough. Okay, I had to add another 1/3 cup of water. So it doesn't always take what the recipe says. I noticed that the very first time I made this, and it worried me because I said, well, a cup of water doesn't work. And then I tried 1/4 cup and it didn't seem to work. And so I had to go a little over that 1/4 cup. But as you can see, you want a nice ball. You know, it's a little bit wet to the touch, but that's okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to put a plate over this, okay? Because you do not want this to dry out while you get your other ingredients ready. We're going to make what is called empanadas. Empanadas, a lot of people associate them to something sweet, but empanadas are also something meaty or cheesy or whatever you want to put in with them. They come from Mexico. And they're like a pocket sandwich that they could carry around in their hand and eat on the go. And the street vendors in Mexico would sell them, I mean, all over the streets where people were heading to work and rushing to work, because sometimes in Mexico, in certain areas, there is no flour. And they don't even know what a burrito is. And in some areas, there is no corn so they don't even know what an empanada or a gordita is. They only know what a burrito is. Well, they use different depending on what parts of Mexico they come from. They might use a burrito to run to work or even for lunch. And in parts where there's no flour, they will use this to make a little pocket sandwich. So let's get started on the rest of what this is going to be filled with. Okay, what I have here on this plate is some chopped up long green chilies. I roast my long green chilies and then I freeze them in the freezer. If you don't have them roasted fresh and put in your freezer, you can always use canned. And then I have some good melting cheese, which is Munster. You can use mozzarella. You can even use cheddar cheeses, and they're all freezable. Over here, I have a pot of pinto beans that I have cooked and smashed down. Here, I have some nice hot lard that I want to be hot when I get ready to make this. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to set this plate over here to the side. I'm going to turn these into balls. With my hands, I'm going to take some of the dough and I'm going to make a ball out of it. Let's see if I move this plate out of the way so you can see this. I'm going to roll this into a ball with my hand. Just like that. Okay? Let's see if we can get this right. It's on camera. I have to. Okay? You see I got a ball there? Now I'm going to set this ball over here on top of some freezer wrap. Plastic wrap. Okay? And I'm going to put a piece of plastic over the top. Just like that. Okay? I'm going to take a plate and smash on this gently. You don't want it to be paper thin. Take a look. It can stand to be smashed a little more. Because if you make a mistake and it's not big enough, you can always redo it. You can take this off. Because see, I may not have enough masa here. So to make it big enough. And you see? It's not big enough, so I'm going to have to redo this part. Okay, in doing this, I realized that the bottom of this plate has a ridge on it. That's not good for doing that. I want something that doesn't have a ridge so that when I push on, it's not making the mark. So I try now a bowl and gently smash and push outward. The ridge on that plate was not making this round like it should be. And I can keep pushing further out, which means pushing down on it. Just gently. I'm going slow with this because I want to show you how I'm doing this so you get an idea. And you see how this has come, it's like a, I'll show you in a second. It's a round circle. And then I'm going to show you what I fill it with. This is not as hard as it looks. Okay, you see that? It's a nice round circle. And you can be done with a small bowl. And then you take this off. What's going to be the hardest part is putting the filling, because the filling is all the way over here. And I don't want to spill it everywhere. So that's harder for me to do than making the little masa or empanada. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this. I'm going to take it and take it off that plastic and hold this in my hand while I put these nice beans on here. You see that? You want to kind of aim for the center. Then I'm going to put some chilies right on top of this. These long green chilies. This is going to be breakfast, okay? You could put hamburger meat in this. I don't want to get this too full. Otherwise, it won't fold over the top. It may not. I may have filled it too full already. Yep. Oh, well. There we go. See how I'm easing and pinching the edges? And sometimes they do open up, but hey, don't worry about that. It ain't all gonna leak out everywhere, you know. And if you find a little hole and you want to cover it because it's thinned out a little bit, just take a little bit of masa and put over the top of the hole, because I see a little bitty hole here. And I'm like, oh, I don't want anything leaking out there. So I'm just going to patch it. See? And that'll cover the hole. And then from there, you want to go over here to your grease. And hopefully it is hot enough already. Hopefully. We can only hope. There we go. Yep. See? It's nice and hot. Okay, let us try to do one more here. Just so you see, I rolled out the ball. I'm going to push on this to try to get it rounder, flatter, and just keep going. There is a press that they do sell. I actually have one to do this with, but I know there's a lot of people who don't, and they cannot get their hands on one. So I wanted to show a way that you could do it without having that corn presser, you know, because sometimes you live in areas where you just can't get it, and I don't think it's a bad idea to know how to do things without it. Now, I have that here. You see that? I'm going to put this with some beans. Now, I try not to put as many as I did the last time because it becomes too much. And then they become hard to seal. See how I'm doing that? Then I'm going to add some chilies to this. I probably overdid it again. I always do that. I have a tendency to overfill these. Okay? I'm going to try and lift this and fold it without making a total mess. These are so they are definitely worth it. And you just seal the edges. Stuff that bean back in there and just seal it. You see? And then we go to our pot where the other one is almost ready. I'm going to get a turner, like a, see how that looks? Okay, I'm going to show you. We have one of them already that's ready here. And I'm going to take it out. I made another one here. See how crispy and nice that looks? I'm going to put it in a plate over here. I have another one that I'm going to put in here. I'm going to show you this. You see that? Now take a look at this one over here. I have grease on my stove from doing this. But you see that? It's nice and crispy. And this is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. It's actually crispier looking in real time than on this camera. And then I'm cooking some more over here. And try this. The more things we know, the better prepared we are. And maseca is a very good thing to use. Now, maseca is not for tamales. They have another kind that is made, and it says for tamales on it. This is for gorditas, empanadas, and corn tortillas. Okay? But try this. You can put hamburger meat in this. You can put shredded beef in it with cheese and chili. It's limitless what you can do. You can put scrambled eggs in it with long green chilies, even with bacon in it. It's your imagination that gives it that special taste. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and may you have a blessed day.